No, talking to my buddy.
All right. All right. So how are you doing tonight, Rick?
Good. I
All
shared out
right.
a lot.
As always, guys, if you guys can like and share the stream, um, like and share the stream, so we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. Sorry, I'm running a little late, but kind of got caught up doing some other things again. Just you just gotta get stuff out of my system. You know how that goes.
Yeah,
Anyways, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hand the show over to Rick if he would like to, do his intro and talk to the chat for a moment while I do some last, minute stuff real quick before we get going on the, when I come back, I'll talk about what's on tap for tonight and stuff like that. But Rick, if you want to take the show for a moment while I'm gone,
I guess I
I'll
could do
be
that.
I'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. How are we all tonight? As most of you know, I am a Rick Piper of Cross Comics, and I'm on here regularly co-hosting. Um, and I will put a link to my channel for anybody that doesn't know my channel. If they want to go over there and subscribe. Hello, good night, Spoon. How are you tonight? I hope you're doing good. He's like, hello, Mike. Goodbye, Mike. But Mike, as he said, move back. So it's not goodbye, it's see you in a moment. After these messages, he'll be right back. To, quote some old cartoon bumpers. So yeah, there's my. Are you leaving too? No, I am not leaving. Not until I'm not leaving till the show is over, which will be in about an hour, maybe a little bit more than an hour, maybe under an hour. It's hard to tell sometimes with these shows because of what is going on with that. Oh, and I was in the middle of resharing this out because I shared out yesterday's show, tomorrow's show, um, not realizing it. I clicked on the wrong one to that ABC. I don't think so. But then again, probably some fat lady has sung somewhere around the world at this point several times, several different ones too. Okay, so we are all shared out. Not sure what else I can talk about. Yeah. So, how did your day go? Good night, Spoon. Well, I'm feeling a little bit better each day. Yeah, yeah. It's still, it's a bummer. You know, I was really starting to like the girl a lot. So, I'm still gonna have interaction with her because the place that I go to, wrong, she's there, so or will be there. So I'm not sure what sort of interaction I'll be having with her.
All right. So hello, Mike. Let me just get caught up on these chats before we get going. And Rick, of course, that's your link right there. For you
Yep,
guys
to
want
my
to go
channel.
check, you guys want to go check his channel out, or is that the channel? Is that your
Yeah, that's just the channel in general, not a specific thing. Hey, Al.
All right, goodbye. I was just off for a sec. Just had to do some last minute stuff. Hello, Rick. Let's see. Let's see. Are you leaving too? Let's see. Did the fat lady say? No, I just basically I was just running behind tonight a little because I got caught up with other things before the show, so it's somewhat a little more distracted today than usual. Oh, feeling any. So I guess he was asking you if you were feeling any better. I guess you responded.
Yeah,
Not too good here, but what's the point in complaining?
true.
Hail
Nobody
Xenu,
wants to listen.
hail Mike, Rick, Air, Ritter, Spoonie. Hey, Elk. All right. So with all that, now that we're all caught up on all the
Chats.
all the chats, um, so tonight we're gonna actually go through 3 articles, and I'll give you a heads up already, Elk, that 2 of those articles are gonna be from Avi. So just giving you a heads up. What's the topic? Let's see. Well, we got a couple of comic related articles where I guess there's a manga shop that opened in Cincinnati. That's going to be one of the things talked about. Also, apparently, Alex Ross and Mark Waid's Kingdom Come series is getting a documentary. And that's the story we're going to start off with. And then Toho's got some announcements on some releases as well. Now, I don't really think there's going to be a whole lot of controversy with the Avi articles here because I don't think there's a lot, because I looked them over. They were actually pretty short articles. So I don't think he.
Yeah, he can still say some pretty dumb stuff sometimes, even in the short articles. But we'll see.
Yeah, but these are, he might some biting comments about like how Mark Wade's turned into a SJW or something to that effect. But like the manga shop store, I don't think there's going to be a lot of controversial statements there. I think it's just simple, straight up. Yeah. Tell me what's going on.
And hello, Elphys. Dotard Elphys is here, saying hair. Oh. Charles, which is I'm not sure what language. I know I looked it up the other night when you put it in.
I may as well read the ingredients on a Pandora sack.
No, potato sack.
Potato sack. R. Charles. Oh, I guess there was some other stuff. You are difficult to hear again? Who, is Rick or me? Oh.
Yeah, they were saying I was a little difficult to hear. Maybe it's because I got my fan so close to me. Yeah. What's the topic? We went over that.
Anyone watch the new norm? No, I don't. I didn't. But anyways, so yeah, we got three articles, and then of course the rest and wrap up in this day in each history. So with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get ourselves started here? Let me just. All right. Oh, let's see now. Let's see. All right. And of course, I also noticing Chris doesn't have an ICS article up yet, so which usually he has it up by now on Wednesdays, but I usually just push it to Thursdays. Just but anyways,
it depends on where he lives. I think it is normally it's supposed to be like a Thursday article. It's supposed to come out on Thursday, so maybe he's over in the UK or something where it would be Thursday now or whatever.
Really? No, I don't think so.
That's when I was first applying to it a few times. That's what I heard. It was supposed to be a Thursday thing. So if we're getting it early on Wednesday, now I could be completely wrong too. So
I didn't realize that was Gay Tom. What was Gay Tom? Oh boy. Anyways. Alex Ross and Mark Waid's Kingdom Come series getting a documentary. Article by Avi Green, published July 9th, 2024.
And that was a very good series, at least the first part of it. I know they did some sequel stuff to it, but I like the original. I actually have it.
Well, I have heard that there has been some criticism of it over the years. I don't know if it does surrounding the more sequel stuff or, the original, but I know that some people, I guess, were not too fond of what they did with it. But the
Yeah,
legend of
the only thing that I would have a problem with is this how they incorporate scripture in it and all that, and the pastor and all that or
hmm,
whatever. That's a bit iffy to me, but overall, I think the 4 issue series was pretty good, and well, Alex Ross is just awesome in his drawings.
is awesome or awful in
Awesome.
his drawing.
It's like two
Okay.
thumbs up.
I wasn't sure what you were saying there for a moment, so couldn't make out what you were saying there for a moment. So, anyways, the legend of Kingdom Come. So, the Wrap announced there's a documentary in production focused on Alex Ross and Mark Waid's mid 1990s DC miniseries Kingdom Come, which is more like an exercise in darkness. All right. And then this is from the article he's referencing here. A documentary charting the creation of the 1996 DC comic story, quote unquote Kingdom Come, has set a fall 2024 release date, launched a Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign, and debuted its first teaser trailer, all of which The Wrap can exclusively reveal. Quote, the legend of Kingdom Come, unquote, comes from by Remzi Atasi and producer Sal Abinanti, the business manager and art dealer for the comic's influential artist Alex Ross. Now, Grant, I know that Avi at the end of his opening statement, there's an exercise in darkness. That's one of the things I had heard too. That maybe there was somewhat of a darker tone taken in the story.
Yes and no. It is an unusual because it's trying to incorporate the Book of Revelation a lot into it.
Hmm.
So, but it basically has Superman's ended up retiring and all like that thing, and he's gone away for quite some bit, and then new heroes start to arise, and they really become really it sort of speaks to almost prophetic social justice type stuff and all that. They just
Hmm.
became god awful. They didn't have any morals or whatever. I forget exactly how it says. They weren't afraid of killing or whatever. I'm probably messing up the thing of it whole, and it's about Superman coming back and taking on one of the major guys and saying, "Hey, no, we need to care for humanity better than this.
Yeah.
You guys are doing it all wrong."
Yeah. All right. Well, with all that, just again a reminder: if you haven't already, you guys can like and share the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything grabs your attention, feel free to
Like and
anyways,
share.
feel free to comment down or ask questions, and we will try to handle the questions. What is social justice? It's the same as BS. All
Well,
right.
there can be real social justice, but most of the social justice warriors aren't for what I would say what real social justice should be. And I'm not even sure how to describe it off the hand what it should be at the moment. Not really thinking about it, but
Yeah.
anyways.
Okay, in quotation marks here, Kingdom Come is one of the most acclaimed comic book stories of all time, featuring breathtaking painted art from Ross and a story written by Mark Waid. Tells a tale of a future where young superheroes have taken over but abandoned the fight for good. Till Superman is pressed to return from retirement to again bring hope to mankind. And now we're back to Avi's take on what we just read here. So, and what's so great about a story building off of the death of Lois Lane and accompanying darkness? Um, did that was that? Would you say that what kind of happened in that? Because you apparently read the Kingdom Come story, right?
Yeah, it's been some time since I read it. So obviously, if he says Lois Lane died, I won't disagree with that. And because but in this, I believe she died of more natural causes. Superman just outlived her, and I could be wrong about that. So, you know, it is an interesting story. What happens to Superman after Lois Lane dies of natural causes? You know,
Well,
uh,
considering
uh,
his Kryptonian DNA and all that, and the effects that him living on Earth would have, he would probably end up living longer than a lot of human beings. Where
yeah,
as we're now up to a point where in our world right now, and it was probably a lot less back then. I think the life, at least here in the States, the life expectancy is 82 for men, 86 for women. I think it might have gone up a bit, but I think back here in the mid
most
90s when it probably was coming out, I think it was 72 and 76 respectively. So
yeah, but still, she like I said, I think she died of natural causes. And so he retires. He's sad. I get it. The love of his life has you know died. So yeah, there'd be some things, and he didn't prepare himself for something like this happening. Although he knew it was going to be an eventuality. And probably most of his friends had died. So he really felt uh, not abandoned. Now, again, it might not have been of natural causes because most of the main heroes that you would have known from the continuity, like Batman's still alive, Bruce Wayne, Green
Mhm.
Lantern, Al Jordan. Most of the Wonder Woman, I'd say, but Wonder Woman again is another character that's long living. But all the Green Arrow is still alive. And they're older. So I forget how Lois dies in this, but again, he knows it's a possibility that she's going to die. Well, he knows she's going to die at some point. He just didn't prepare himself. But it's not like she died at his hands via Lex Luthor, thanks to the Joker, like in Injustice. Um, it's but he just goes into retirement and he's like, screw it all, like I have no reason to live, so I can't really kill myself, so I'm just going to go off to nowhere. And he just, made the Kent farm, did the Kent farm thing, just planted wheat and all that sort of stuff, if I
Mhm.
remember right.
Well, I think in most Superman canon, um, the farm life provided a more of a peaceful, stabilizing situation. I guess Rick had to go talk to his cousin for a moment. So, anyways, we're going to continue on with the article, and I'm sure it's back. He'll have more to say. Let's see if I can get find my cursor and all that. All right, so a story that practically led to more examples of depicting Superman as a bad guy later on. Um, all right. Even
Um,
it. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I wouldn't say this is something that led to examples of him portraying Superman as a bad guy. I think there was stuff before this that would have done that too. But you know, that's my opinion, anyways.
Well, yeah, I do know that I'm sure that some of the current writers at DC have been doing that, maybe having Superman not so good, or they're trying to use him as the poster child for their own agenda. I do know that in a Justice League episode, I think it was the two-parter Better World, they did kind of depict not just Superman but all the Justice League in
Yeah, bad light.
in a negative light. Even though it was supposed, I guess it was their way of getting around the whole idea of trying to do it as almost like a pastiche to the criminal syndicate from Earth
yeah,
3.
the injustice. Well, not injustice. The crime syndicate of America.
Right. But where they actually had, where in the episode they actually had Superman outright murder President Luthor by incinerating him with his
heat vision. Yeah, and again, you've had Bizarro, which is supposed to be sort of a twisted version of Superman, um, Ultraman, and then I know there's probably been a couple others too, even before Kingdom Come. So
yeah.
Alf would like to know how you define pastiche.
Well, I've heard the term used before. As I understand it, it's some kind of like, it's like some kind of like it's supposed to be like in honor or something, or in reference to something. Like I know that, but not necessarily direct. In direct. When you can't use the actual characters. Like in another episode of where I think they did actually say it was somewhat of a pastiche to Justice Society. It was another episode of Justice League.
Where Green Lantern goes to that alternate universe that a comic writer is supposed
Legends.
to.
That's what the episode was, and yeah, basically in which they talked about how, and they did it word for word, but instead of having the even though you had a lot of the costume design, the art design of the Justice Society, they went by other names like Green Guardsman, like the Streak,
Yeah.
Black Siren, Catman. So I as I understand it, it just simply means in honor of something without using the direct character. So.
Elk is saying it's a derogatory. It means a poor copy or a poor combination of characters. Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think I had the copy of a character part right. I just didn't realize it was meant to be a degrading copy or whatever.
Yeah.
But I had the general idea that it had something to do with a
copy. Yeah. So you had part of the idea, unfortunately not the full idea. So yeah, in this case, you've used the wrong word just because you were not fully informed what it was.
Anyways, were you about to say something, Rick?
I was just about to say the same thing as you. Let's get back to the article.
Yeah. Even if it wasn't part of the regular DC canon, it's yet another cliche in the long list where something more tragic and inspiring happens. What makes a story like this better than the marriage of Superman? What makes this a story like this better than the marriage of Superman and Lois Lane, or the marriage of Spider-Man and Mary Jane? I have yet to hear of such a project in the works for documentaries. And all the while, productions like this, where they actually expect people to crowdfund their efforts, get the lion's share of notice instead. Well, I think the reason they're getting the lion's share of notice is because they happen to be a couple famous people.
Also,
obviously, I guess Avi didn't care for Kingdom Come himself because I guess, as he put it, they emphasized too much on the negative things.
But like I said, I've read it. I thought it was pretty good. Again, I don't. What makes it better? No, nobody's trying to say it's better. I don't think than those things. But it's definitely more unique because you're exploring a different avenue, and like I said, it has biblical connotations to it as well.
Now, one of the things I did find out when I looked up, Avi's information is I believe he is Jewish. he is of Jewish descent. So that might also color some of his views a little bit.
Yeah.
If you have something in there that might come off as derogatory towards the Judeo-Christian, value belief system, yeah, he's gonna probably obviously have an issue with it.
Yeah. Although I didn't think it was a very good interpretation of biblical last day events. I enjoyed it for what it was. Like I've seen other stuff that was as probably worse than it for doing something like this, and it's trying to do it with the superheroes. So like I said, the way that it went into the biblical narrative, and all that was a little wacky, in my opinion. And
Okay, Avi believes comics shouldn't be horror because he says so. Now he's saying comics shouldn't be tragic.
well,
Well,
you need tragedy. He's saying that he doesn't think it's what people want, but you know what? It's a crowdfunding thing. The sales will speak one way or another.
Tragedy is ancient and central to art and writing. Yeah, well, I mean, he's got his right to his opinion, just like you do, Elk.
Yeah, there's
But anyways, let's get back to the article here.
also the interviewees.
Yeah. Okay. Also, the interviewees cited don't sound like Superman specialist, but rather for a character who's been given more emphasis in the wider press than the Man of Steel has in the past decade.
Okay,
Now, of course. Go ahead, Rick.
I'm just. Unfortunately, he doesn't give who the character that's talking about here, so that doesn't leave. Either he's addressing something that we're about to get addressed, or it's like, if you're not putting in what you're addressing, that there's talking more about a different character than Superman, well then it's a little off. But the Kingdom Come was more. It was more. Yeah, Superman was a major focus of it, but he wasn't the only focus of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, I think as a lot of people do, I think people traditionally look at Superman as being a beacon of hope. I mean, when you look at the dynamic between Superman and Batman's relationship, when you look at the dynamic of Superman and Batman's, Superman's always been depicted as kind of the guy who's in the sun all the time, whereas Batman does everything more behind the scenes from the shadows. So kind of that interesting dichotomy there. His opinion is dumb. Not all opinions are equal.
This is for sure.
Elk. Everybody's got an opinion. Okay, everybody's got an opinion. Rick has an opinion. I have an opinion. You have an opinion. Avi has an opinion. As my dad used to say, opinions are like assholes. Okay, everyone's got one.
Yeah. I will agree that all opinions are not equal, and the thing is, we all think maybe not all people. We always think our opinion is the superior opinion, and most everybody else's is dumb. Is he going to say? Who knows? Why should or comics not exist? I don't care whether they exist or not exist. Might not be somebody to read. Not everyone has an opinion on Kingdom Come. But yeah, true. We have opinions on lots of things. Not everybody has opinions on everything because they haven't even taken the time to consider having an opinion on some things. or maybe they just don't care enough to have an opinion on certain things. So we just, I think the thing is, we do all have opinions on various things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some of them are on the same subjects, maybe some of them aren't for whatever reason. But we all have our own opinions, and sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, sometimes we're dumb, sometimes we're not. Rick, I'm going to need you to back up that statement on opinions. What statement exactly? Although I've made a couple
Anyway,
statements.
let's get back to the article. Let's get back to
Yeah.
the article here. All right. So now this is referencing the article that he's referencing here for the. So the filmmakers conducted more than 30 interviews with collaborators and other members of the comic book industry. Other creators interviewed for the film include Spawn creator and Image Comics co-founder Todd McFarlane, Batman the Animated Series writer and Harley Quinn co-creator Paul Dini, plus TV and comics writing team Jules and Shauna Benson, or Julie
Okay.
and Shauna Benson. Yeah.
Okay. So obviously, those people don't seem the best people to interview, but maybe they couldn't get other people. I don't know whether maybe they did get Superman aficionados to interview, but they're not stating them. Who knows why you wouldn't state about them in the
Well,
article?
I would, yeah,
But
I would.
but
The
these
one person,
maybe these
the one
people are
person
just a little
there,
bit more famous.
yeah, the one person there who might be because he did a lot of writing for the DCAU stuff is Paul Dini right there, who also previously worked on the 1980s filmation He-Man the Masters Universe as well, believe it or not. So, fans have speculated that there may be elements of the Kingdom Come mythology at play in 2025's Superman film from writer-director James Gunn. That includes striking similarities between the S-Shield symbol on the movie version of the hero's costume with that of the classic comic miniseries Kingdom Come. Miniseries. The Kingdom Come take on the character also influenced Brandon Routh's reprise of his role as Superman when he portrayed the character in CW's quote-unquote Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover.
Yeah, that I will agree with.
All right, so now
We
getting
got a
back.
few. We've got a few more comments here. Alex saying, Avi believes people should write horror comics because the real world is too dark. That's actually what he wrote. It was up a couple that he said that.
Yeah.
That's dumb, says Goodnight Spoon. And then Alex says, in the same article, he said the Punisher's original should not be changed like murdering criminals isn't dark. True. I'm not sure which article you're referring to. Myself, offhand.
I brought in some articles from a while back.
Yeah, well, I figured that, but I wasn't around to hear it or read it.
So I believe. Oh, you want? Okay, you want? Go ahead.
You can read. I just.
Though I believe the Nolan trilogy is garbage for being too realistic, I feel like this hot take on horror needs to be scrutinized. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are scrutinizing it, but I think sometimes though you can scrutinize it without taking it too personally.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. I think sometimes the tone when you're trying to be critical, when it starts feeling like you're taking it too personally, that's when you realize, okay, maybe you need to step back a bit.
Yeah. Although if we're reading chats, we're reading the tone into the chat, whatever it might be. So.
Yeah. So. Anyways, back to the art, and this is Avi speaking again. Well, if Gunn's going to build specifically on something that could be more attuned to darkness than brightness, coupled with a tasteful sense of humor. That's hardly encouraging. And why do Batman writers matter more than anybody who scripted Superman? Um, it it could be worse, though. What if Brian Bendis, one of the worst of the overrated modern writers, to get his mitts on the Man of Steel, turns out to be among the interviewees? Now, before anybody said anything, there's a lot of consensus on Brian Bendis's work on Superman.
Right.
Avi's not the only person I know of who has had issues with Bendis's portrayal of Superman in his writings. I know for a fact Yellow Flash has also openly been has publicly and open, has been openly and publicly critical of Bendis's work. So before anybody chimes in there, let me just point that out.
Yeah, well, obviously. But the thing is, what I think Avi's missing here is it said over 30 interviewees. And they're just they named Todd McFarlane for some reason. He's a famous name. They named, the guy that did Batman the Animated Series and Harley Quinn. Again, maybe he's more famous than, but he's not as.
I think he also has done some writing for Superman too.
I'm not sure. It just didn't say that. So, I'm just going by what they said that he wrote in the article. You would think if he wrote for Superman the Animated Series, it would have said that because it would have been more, as I think Alex trying to point out, more relevant.
It was lacking a little bit because I believe I have seen Denny's credit on Superman. You have to remember, a lot of those guys were working on a lot of those shows together.
Yeah.
You have to remember, Batman the Animated Series came out in '92, then Superman came out in '96. And then of course you also had Static Shock come in '99. You had
well, I thought Superman would have been out only a year later, because then when both of those ended, they did the Justice League.
Yeah, but basically they were all working together on a lot of those shows. Now maybe Avi didn't realize that or didn't know that, but
Yeah, well, it's not Avi saying it in that article. It's who's ever doing the article, right? Because it's the article that references
who that's right.
interviewees are, and I think I was saying, okay, if you're going to put the people, I don't mind them interviewing these other people, they're comic creators or they have something to do with comics. There's a relevance there, but why wouldn't you put people who are a little bit more relevant to Superman, people who've written Superman or whatever, as in trying to name a couple of creators, the writers or whatever, as interviewees, not just a couple of random famous dudes, but they're, well, maybe not so random, but like Todd McFarlane is fairly famous. So I get it. Maybe they're just trying to list more of the famous people on it that they interviewed than the not famous, or maybe they didn't get the whole list of names, so they don't know everybody. This is what the interviewees or the project leaders gave them or has said for who the interviewees are.
Anyways, Rick, we're already at the 30-minute mark. So I really should probably start.
We're actually the 40-minute mark.
Yeah, well, coming up on it, yeah. So
let's try and get this article done.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, so we're back to Avi here. Well, if Gunn's going to build specifically on something that could be okay. Oh, actually, we read that. Oh, yeah, we read that article, that paragraph.
We read that first paragraph.
And the whole notion of younger heroes becoming as nasty as the crooks they battle is decidedly another annoyance with the premise of Kingdom Come in hindsight. How did that inspire younger generations in real life? As though it weren't bad enough, there's whole younger generations today taking up lives of crime and making the USA a most miserable place to live. Now, I think even in Christian circles, I think the whole idea of, I think I get kind of where Avi's trying to go here.
Yeah,
It's like, and it's something I always remind you of, I think from Isaiah, I think it was Isaiah 6:9. We're
yeah,
kind of
right.
in
Shall
that
become
world right now where good is called evil and evil is called good,
yeah, and
right?
exactly. See, there's where Avi's missing the point of this whole series. It is, as I said in my reading of it, it takes a lot of stuff from Revelations, connotation. It has a lot of biblical stuff in that regard. The whole thing is think the specter is a big part of it, and some sort of preacher or reverend is a part of it, who's sort of I forget whether he's lost his way or not, or sort
Mhm.
of losing his way, and he's being shown this stuff or whatever. I forget get exactly, but there's a lot of biblical connotations in here, and dealing with the end times, the
Well,
last
the
days.
title itself, right? The title itself.
Yeah, yeah, I guess you can say that too. Kingdom Come. There's many ways you could interpret that, and I think Avi's forgetting this in what the series is about. He's focusing on the wrong things, because it's what is the series about? Yeah, is it about Superman's retirement? Not really, and it's about when it's like I said, what is it? What would the world be like in the last days? Biblical, if you use the biblical stuff with superheroes, what would it be like?
Yeah,
I guess in a sense.
yeah,
Although, like I said, I think they get it off a little bit, but
yeah.
that's totally another discussion. Anyways, we should try and get back to the article.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, okay. Let me see.
Rick, when will
As
you
though,
be?
as though it weren't bad enough that there's a whole younger generation today taking up lives of crime, making the USA a most miserable place to live. The way Kingdom Come is set up is hardly the way to convince younger folks why heroism and patriotism are better paths. It's not all that different from The Dark Knight Returns either, what what with dark premises forming the basis of the story. So why is Kingdom Come seen as a big deal for documentaries, but not something like a marriage or even the birth of Franklin Richards from the Fantastic Four? If
Yeah,
childbearing also counts as an inspirational premise, some Hollywooders sure sure know how to go for the easy choices. Indeed, I certainly won't be contributing any dough to finance the production through crowdfunding, and it seems awfully cynical to even produce it that way, anyways.
yeah. Well, you know what the difference is? Kingdom Come was a big more storyline. It had a 4 issue arc of fairly thick, not super thick, but they were graphic novels. You know, so it was a bigger deal, fortunately or unfortunately, than Spider-Man getting married or Clark Kent getting married, which had one issue, one special issue. Yes, there was the build-ups and the marriage afterwards and all that sort of stuff, but it wasn't as big a deal as this, you know. So, Rick, when will you be spending an entire stream ignoring the chat to make a Luma AI dream machine videos of Canadian Shield? I don't know. Is Luma AI another new AI out there? And if so, I don't know because I haven't even heard of this Luma AI trying to make the Canadian Shield of that.
Okay, Avi's hat take. Don't portray the end times in art as instead they could make a documentary about a marriage.
Yeah. Well,
I think overall what Avi's thing is that he believes people should be focusing more, kind of like I do on this channel, where we tend to try to focus more on the positive stuff, not on the negative stuff. Um, I think what he's basically saying is we are in a generation here where we seem to be spotlighting evil more than we're spotlighting good. Okay.
Yeah. Well, to me, I don't think, and I could be wrong. I don't think Avi's read the books. And if I hate to say it, if he hasn't read the books, I don't think he should be commenting like this. In his going over,
maybe yet. I mean, I don't know. I mean, some people can read stuff and they might interpret it a different way than others. So
yeah, that's true, and I agree with that. It's just in the little bit that he said in it, I don't think he's read the book much, or he's read maybe a synopsis or something like that, and I think that's about it. And like I said, I could easily be wrong, but that's what I get from reading or going over the article. And Rick, did you know Spenny of Kenny? No, I did not know that. Alex so cancel the Book of Revelation and only read Christmas story from now on. Well, that's what some people would like. Some people would just like focusing on all the goody two stuff and.
All right. Anyways, let's get on to the next article. Now, this one I don't really think we should end. But then again, I didn't necessarily realize we were going to spend that as much time, getting into that one either. I didn't think the critique was going to be that hard biting.
Yeah. But in some ways, it's just Avi being Avi. What more can you expect?
All right, so Manga is ascendant at this Cincinnati comic book shop. Article by Avi Green published earlier today. So here we go. I'm gonna just try to start. So WCPO 9 ABC has a report on a manga specialty store in Cincinnati that's become a big deal. And this is from the article here. Owner C. Jacqueline Wood doesn't claim to be an expert on manga. She's a filmmaker who became interested in anime movies and manga books after watching the films of Hayao Miyazaki, the legendary Japanese director who has won multiple Academy Awards. 2 years ago, Wood took a chance. She opened what she says is our region's only Japanese comic book shop. And I don't know what she meant by region, whether it's Cincinnati, Ohio, the Midwest,
Probably Cincinnati. Well, she can mean all three because it's probably the only one in there. Although you would have comic book shops and other places that would have anime.
Well, I think what they're saying is specifically manga, focused shops. So what started as a store with 2,500 books quickly grew to more than 5,000. College Hill officials tell us that small business is making a big impact in Cincinnati. And Wood says she wouldn't have been able to open without help from the College Hill Community Urban Redevelopment Corporation. Emmanuel Karikari runs a nonprofit organization which focuses on developing the neighborhood's business district. He says his group offers lower rent to small business owners. They also helped Wood move from one building to another to get more foot traffic. Karikari laughs when asked about his manga knowledge, but he said he's consistently surprised by the crowds drawn to the store. People come from all over. Yeah, I mean, and I know Yellow Flash talked about the idea that manga has really been taken off even more of late because of because of what's being presented in comics. So,
Yeah.
Quote, we've never had anything like a manga shop anywhere near College Hill, unquote, Kari said. Wood said she's been more successful because of their help, which includes sponsoring an anime film festival that starts this month. All right, so then Avi is saying in the article, what this can tell us is that if there's any comic succeeding in USA sales today, it's foreign products. Certainly far more than mainstream USA products, which is true. And I know Avi again is not the only one who's made that point. There's a number of. Though I do find it annoying the proprietor was inspired to open the store based on viewing the films of a leftist like Miyazaki. All right, now even I have to acknowledge that maybe Avi is grinding a little too hard on some of this stuff. I mean, this is one of those articles that doesn't need to go down this route here.
There's no who cares what inspired her? She did it, and it's getting out. This stuff is getting out to everybody. Different things inspire all of us.
Avi must write these articles for free. He's probably on disability too, and can write for $20 an article. Otherwise, why would anyone hire him? Well, there probably are some people who like what he writes there. I think Avi is plagiarizing. I doubt that. Urban development means giving taxpayers money to black women, hopefully gay ones. Avi loves to crap on stuff, and it's not dark when he does it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, for sure, if anything, Avi does, he gives a lot of controversy because of his articles and some of his opinions, and gets people.
What I think too. This kind of what I'm thinking too, because when I first started reading some of his earliest articles that I read, they weren't this vicious.
Bad?
Yeah, well, no, they weren't this vicious. I mean, even going, this right here is an article just talking about the release. There's no need to put in the whole, she was inspired by a leftist. Okay, does that really matter if if Hayao Miyazaki is a leftist? Hayao Miyazaki's work is still considered pretty successful, right? And a lot of people still respect his work. Was it really necessary in this case? Because I mean, it's a comic shop for the College Hill area. People getting more exposed to manga and anime, right?
Yeah,
and that's a good thing. If people don't like the messaging in the stories, they will decide for themselves. You don't. This is one of those times I feel that maybe Avi's going a little over, but one of the things I'm worried about too is maybe Avi's kind of got caught in the trap that a lot of people who write articles, who do journalism, and or who make YouTube videos have gone into. they
It's
feel
drama.
the way that they can get people to listen to them or read what they're writing or pay attention to them. It's just by going on just one big long crap fest, as
Yeah, but you know what?
which is kind of sad, the
Yeah,
shock syndrome, you know.
yeah. But you know what? It's amazing though. Like I said, we read from a few different people here on Bleeding Fool, and you don't get as much content out of all the other people. But usually, when you read an Abby article, we we really get a lot of content.
Well, we get a lot of conversations going too. But I think in Avi's case, he would be wise in some respect on some article, not to do this, not to sit there and just try to figure out, oh, how am I going to crap on this story today? Um,
Yeah, let's
I mean,
instead of trying to take a negative spin, let's try and get a positive spin.
I've never read Kingdom Come, so I don't know everything. That's why I I don't have a whole lot to say on his analysis. I know, that's why I let you kind of talk more about it. You've actually read it.
Yeah.
I
think I read it I read it as it came out. I believe back in the 90s.
Yeah. So.
It's just we've read a couple articles. Like there was one time, once a time, I think you read articles by Abby, and I wouldn't be criticizing him this much, but over the last year at least, he seems to have gotten walked off.
There might be something going on in his life where he's just become more bitter,
or something.
But I pointed out when I was first reading Avi's articles, they were actually pretty detailed and they were actually pretty good. A lot of his earlier stuff was actually pretty good, but I don't know if something's just gone on, if he's just kind of either he's got some issues going on right now, or maybe he's just a little fatigued at the negativity in the world right now.
Yeah,
you get a lot of his points, but I think he's dwelling on them a little too much. I mean, that statement of her being inspired by a leftist Miyazaki, I don't think that was even necessary.
Yeah, well, and the fact that he finds it annoying. Okay, maybe you find it annoying, but and why are you annoyed by it? That she was inspired by this guy to get into manga, or to start a business. In this case, it's something good. Why can't, as much as, I'm not really big on leftists and all that myself, if they've inspired somebody to do something good,
right? Yeah, I mean,
great. It's like this person's been inspired to do something and it's actually good. It's not bad for once, It's not a leftist inspiring somebody to do something bad and rotten.
I think this is going to be the last article I do tonight because we've spent so much time on these two articles.
Yeah,
we're almost at the hour mark, so we're gonna.
I think we're almost done here too. So, but anyways,
we are, because I can see down there. All right, so let's see. Yeah, leftist. When there are plenty more anime producers and directors in Japan whose productions could be just as compelling and even more.
Yeah, but, sorry to interject, but that's not what she's seen first. What got her into it? It's this one guy she saw first and got her into it.
Yeah, she can't help that. Had a bunch of great films. A lot of people, Spirited Away, Princess Mononosuke, the World of Arity. A lot of these films that he's done are considered legendary. You may not necessarily agree with some of the political subtext if you see it in there, but it's still pretty good stuff. So, anyways,
even more,
and it's not availing when some of the people involved that they're not experts on Japan's medium any more than the domestic. Again, I would even say that's kind of an unnecessary statement.
Yeah, because the thing is, they're doing a business.
Yeah.
I've had comic book shop owners that I've bought off of that aren't really into the comic books. They're doing it as a business to try and make money. And you know what? That's all right.
Yeah.
You don't need to.
Apart from that, a manga specialty store is certainly a great idea. And if people in Ohio find this more absorbing than the sorry state of USA comic are in now, that's good. All right. So
At least he ended on a decent note.
At least he ends with a positive statement. At least he ends with a somewhat positive statement. So yeah. But I would almost
you take out about a third of his article here.
Huh?
About a third of the article wasn't needed.
Right. I would agree
of his commentary.
Yeah. Anyways, so now with that, as I said, we initially were going to try to do 3 articles. We only got through 2 because both these articles led to some pretty hot discussions here. So
yeah,
so we're going to move right into this day, or not this, but the wrestling wrap up. So we're just going to go over some stuff real quick. So it looks like in the WWE news, they might be changing up Rhea Ripley's character to make her more of a babyface. She's been getting more babyface reactions or good guy reactions, even though she was pretty much been a heel for a good chunk of her time. So and of course, on last night's NXT, Joe Hendry made an appearance. TNA's Joe Hendry made an appearance. Fueling more speculation that once his contract is up with TNA, he might end up signing with the WWE and maybe going on to the NXT brand. Anyways, moving on to AEW news on tonight's Dynamite. Here's what's going down on tonight's Dynamite from the Scotch Bank Saddle Dome in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. The finals of the Owen Hart tournament are going on tonight. In the men's final, you'll have Bryan Danielson taking on Adam Page with special guest enforcer Jeff Jarrett. And in the women's final, you have Willow Nightingale, last year's winner, taking on Mariah May. The winners of these 2 matches, of course, will earn a world title shot at All In, I believe, which happens next month, I believe, from Wembley Stadium in England. So and this was just added this year. Formerly, it was just the pride and prestige of being the champion, but now they added the world title shot. Now, whether or not they'll continue that afterwards.
And hello, Murph. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And you see Calgary, Alberta? Maybe we can get out to drive down there quick and get some sort of exclusive interview with some of these people outside. Wouldn't that be neat for your show? No, I doubt he would do that because he's not into wrestling.
Yeah, but anyways, in a non-title Stampede Street fight, FTW champion Chris Jericho with Brian Keith in his corner will be taking on Samoa Joe, and also in a number 1 contendership global glory 4-way match for the number 1 contendership to the international AEW international title. You have Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli taking on Tomohiro Ishii, and as well as Pac and Kyle Fletcher. Of course, Pac was the inaugural international champion, having won the initial tournament when the title was established. So that's all going on tonight. And now, to talk a little bit about last night's NWA Power. on last night's Power on the CW. The show saw the Immortals advance to the finals of in the Crockett Cup semifinal match. The former United States Tag Team Champions, the Immortals, defeated the current NWA World Tag Team Champions, Blunt Force Trauma, to advance to the finals of the Crockett Cup tournament. Baron Von Storm defeated Mims in a singles match. And in the main event saw Kenzie Page successfully defend the NWA World Women's title over former tag partner and associate Ella Envy in the Pretty Empowered stable. So Kenzie Page, who was cornered by her sister Kylie Page, and Ella Envy, who was cornered by Miss Samantha Starr. So there we go with that. So that's all we got for the wrestling wrap-up for you guys.
And yeah, they probably do. They could sell some American comics too, but it's probably not the majority of what they sell. So it'd be considered more a manga store than a comic store.
Yeah.
If they do, it's hard to say.
So anyway, so now with that, so we're done with that portion. So let's see. Today is Wednesday, July the 10th, 2024. So let's get ready to take a look back at this day in Meech history. History! So first off, we're going to head back 50 years ago. And on this date, 50 years ago today, Filmation's Oliver Twist premiered in the Filmation's animated adaptation of Charles Dickens' novel of the same name, Oliver Twist, premiered in movie theaters on this date 50 years ago today. So on this date 50 years ago today, Filmation, which of course is well known for, for He-Man and the Masters, the 80s He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoons, as well, She-Ra, Princess of Power, and Filmation's Ghostbusters, among other things.
The real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Strange neighborhood, and it does look good.
Well, Oliver Twist premiered on this date 50 years ago today from Filmation. Now moving on to the next piece of Meech history. On this date, 40 years ago today, the 300th issue of Incredible Hulk, which of course started off as Tales to Astonish, went on sale on this date back in 1984. 40 pages. The story was titled Days of Rage, written by Bill Mantillo, penciled by Sal Buscema, inked by Gary Talak, lettered by James R. Novak, and colored by Bob Sharon. So that happened 40 years ago today. Then, let me see now. On this date, 10 years ago today, back in 2014, the following anime premiered on Japanese television on this date. A1 Pictures' Black Butler, Book of Circus, Mappa's Terror in Resonance, and Silver Link's Fate, Khalid, Liner, Prisma, Ilya, Tuve. All those so those three shows, A1 Pictures, Black Butler, Book of Circus, Mappa's Terror in Resonance, and Silver Link's Fate, Khalid, Ilner, Prisma, Ilya, Tuve, premiered on Japanese television on this date 10 years ago today, rather. So with that, I thank everybody for being here today. Now, before we close things out, Rick, would you like to do an outro?
Sure, I think I still have my link from earlier. Yeah, there. I'm just going to put my link in again and say, hey, if you're not subscribed to me, go over subscribe. I do some comic stuff lately. It hasn't been quite as much, but I have been doing a Tuesday night chill stream where I just chill and talk with the chat about whatever. Use a little bit of what's going on in my life. Not that really anybody cares too much about what's going on in my life. But just to keep connected with my, I'll say, fan base, my base of supporters. So, yeah, just go check out my channel if you like what you see over there. Subscribe and share it out.
All right. So with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. We'll be back here tomorrow night with more Neats news. Of course, well, if he does have it up, we'll probably be doing the Indie Comic Showcase. So a little break from the more hectic stuff here. Just talking about what's out there. If you guys want to come by and check that out. Also, Friday, of course, I'll have Apex from Apex Comics with me co-hosting, as we will be looking at comics that went on sale in March 1940. This week we'll be focusing in on Harvey Comics, looking at Speed Comics Volume 1, Issue 8, and Champion Comics Volume 1, Issue 7. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.